Okay, alright. Alright, guys. Back. I just, I didn't upload it yet, but I just got done doing a video on, I did another video on the NFC and AFC, uh, conference championship for the NFL. So check those out. So you can check that one out. The reason I did another one because I don't know, I just felt like doing another one. Um, redoing the video. So and then check on my all my check the rest of my videos out too. The NFL analysis. Did my analysis on the season a while back. On the NFL season, the bucs season. Um, Done a few videos on the bucs. And this will be another video on the bucs. Alright, because there's been some news coming up lately, and figure I'll get my opinion out and freaking my two. I'll get my 2 cents on it. The first, okay, so obviously we got this talk about Adrian Peterson. Okay, he was on ESPN the other day. ESPN First Take, and when they're talking about cause if it doesn't end up going back to Minnesota, the Vikings, which I mean, it's looking like that. That's probably not going to happen, but you never know. But money being an issue, and got the $18 million contract, and he's gonna, if the two sides don't come, looking like the two sides don't come to an agreement, on a restructured contract, or if Adrian Peterson just wants to go somewhere else, feels it's better to go somewhere else, then then he could get released and freaking or traded, but more likely released, and freaking he'll test the open market. And then he brought up a couple teams. Well, first, before we get, because obviously if I'm doing a video on it, okay, yes, he brought up a couple teams and said, I believe the first or second team that came to mind was Tampa. But what's interesting is what led up to that was there was 3 factors that factored in to a new destination if things don't work out with Minnesota. Number 1, has to have a good coaching staff. Okay, we got Mike Smith coming back. Okay, we got some other good coaches on the staff. With Hayes and Warhop and Dirk, who got some experience on the offense side of the ball, which and and some other good coaches. Okay. Number 2, you have to have a good defense. okay, we improved on defense, and Mike Smith is coming back, and uh, so the defense can only get better. So okay, can see why Tampa would come to mind. And then number three was a good offensive system. That and obviously a need for a running back. Especially what's looking like Burn Doug may not be coming back. Well, we end up releasing him, which okay, this will get to my point now. I think it would be a good move if, as if, even the Bucs would even have interest. Okay, which there has to be some. Okay, because obviously he is a future Hall of Famer. Just hasn't. It's just, can Adrian Peterson get back to you know to part of the old him of the way he ran the ball before all these injuries. Well, specifically these past 2 seasons. Which he can, he's done it before, but he's what, 30, 31 now? Okay, as long as he being paid at least somewhat, maybe just a little bit more than Duck, but about the same as Duck. Like if we flat out just release Duck and sign AP, okay, maybe he can be, he can have a few strong years, and then we can draft a running back in the freaking maybe second round, but third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round. Have him develop behind AP. Freaking learn from one of the best, and then that running back would potentially be our running back of the future. So that'll be the only way that it would be a good move. If we flat out just release Doug and sign him to freaking 6, 7 million, especially the first year, 6, 7 million a year with incentives, because he's gonna want more than that. So, with incentives, and then if he meet those incentives, then he freaking gets more. That'll be the only way it'll be a good move, and we have to be for certain that he can get back to some of his old ways and get back to somewhat running the ball like he did years ago. And friggin' okay, our run game could be set. And we would freaking have it's a Queen Rogers, maybe if we re-sign him, and and Charles Sims and Payne Barber behind him. Just don't have him pound the rock all game. Okay, that's gonna have to be the deal with AP. He can't be pound the rock. It can't be pound the rock the whole game. Okay, he's gonna have to have a few few carries taken away from him, which that's fine. Charleston and Jaquiz, they freaking fit that role perfect. So I wouldn't mind AP, but for the but only for the right price, because it can't be too expensive. So that's my 2 cents on the AP, on the Adrian Pearson situation. And now, alright, okay, let's kind of give somewhat of predictions or my thoughts on of what I think the Bucs are going to do in the off season. Alright, um, obviously, first we're gonna start by re-signing our own. Okay, because that's one thing that Jason Light had brought up. I don't know, forget when, but I happened to come across it, which he is true to his words. Um, Jason Light, the GM, um, that players that have that have produced on the field, they have been rewarded. That have been good on off the field have been, you know, they've been given for the most part, you know, contract, a new contract. Um, we have some players that could be deserving of a new contract. First one that comes to mind is defensive end William Golston. Now, yeah, as far as a run stopping or run stuffing, um, and defensive end, um, I mean, Will William Golston has he's he's been pretty good in that department. Pass rushing, yeah, that still needs to be worked out, but but I think he can still get a decent contract, a decent few-year contract, um, just because of his run stuffing ability. Yeah, defensive linemen and especially defensive ends, they're really about can they get after the quarterback. No, but he has been a part. He was a part of our defense last year when healthy, and and he was a big part of in our run stuffing, and and stopping the run. So he definitely deserving of a new contract, and I can see him staying here. And then Quiz Rogers, I think he'll get a 2-year deal, and maybe 1-2 million a year. Um, yeah, about one, a little over 1-2 million a year. Um, and he'll compete for a spot. Um, maybe starting spot depending on what we do with Doug. Um, My prediction on Doug, I think we end up I think we end up releasing him, and we end up going after AP if he gets released. But if not, I could still see us maybe I could still see us still getting rid of Doug and re-signing Jaquiz. Oh, and Anton Smith, I could see him come back. Cause remember he got hurt in the Niners game. Believe it was that game. Um, and he's he's you know obviously that's why we got him, because freaking um that experience with the Dirk Cutter and the offense. He can come back cheap. Um, uh, and Jaquez Smith, um, see him come back. He got hurt week 1, and we definitely could have used him. Better pass rusher. Um, you know, he'll come back. Hopefully, he come back next year, freaking healthy, and help us freaking gather the quarterback. Um, yeah, imagine that line. Imagine a pass rushing package of Jaquiz Smith, um, Jaquiz Smith, Noah Spence, Gerald McCoy, um, you know, Robert Ayers. Damn, we freaking eat quarterback, man. Gosh, that's like a deli. That deli right there. Uh, that's a deli pass rush right there. Man, you think we can kind of gather the quarterback now? Ooh, just wait till next year when Noah Spence is healthy and freaking get Jaquiz Smith back healthy. Man, um, but I do, and then so we'll resign some of our own, like Will Golson, Jaquiz Smith. Um, and then as far as the other free agents, okay, I see us getting. I'm gonna say one receiver. Okay, I'm gonna say one receiver, one or two receivers. Okay, somebody like a Kenny Stills, uh, Kenny Stills from Miami, Kenny Britt from St. Louis, um, Pierre Garcon from uh, Washington. Maybe Deshaun Jackson. Maybe. It's funny because he was available last. Was it last offseason? Or or maybe it was when Lovey and Jason Light first got here. Um, and Jason Light has, obviously he has Philly ties. Back when Deshaun Jackson was in Philly, and we didn't get him. I no, I did, but it was reported that we had interest in him, which I could see the interest was probably real then. So I don't know, maybe it can happen this time, but I mean, yeah, he is what 30 now, and I mean, yeah, I mean he's still a good receiver, um, but it's just the thing that comes to mind though. It's the off the field. that off the field and personality. You know, Jason, like, that's one thing. He's been going after the guys with a good personality. Like, Robert Ayers, veteran, fiery, good, that got that ego. Um, but I see, obviously, if we get AP, then that will be a splash. Okay, that will be somewhat of a splash signing. Even if we do get AP, I see, I see, I see at least one splash sign, a signing that may kind of, not shocking. That, oh man, why we get this guy? No, not that type. But I can see maybe the team thinking, all right, this is this one player. He's young. He just got in. He just got into his prime. We have cap space. Let's get this done. Let's get this done. Let's not have him leave the building. Let's freaking drive a private jet up there, and we cannot leave without him signing a contract. I can see that happening with one guy. I'm not gonna no, I'm not gonna say it's going to happen, or I'm not gonna say maybe who it is or who it could be. Or I actually, I can say who it could be. But the question is, if we were to do that, who would we really go hard at? Even if we sign Adrian Peterson. Okay, if we sign Adrian Peterson, then I would say we would probably go hard after a defensive player. I see one splash signing on both sides of the ball. I see a splash signing on the offense side of the ball, and I see a splash signing on the defense side. It may not be huge money signing, but still a splash signing. Players that have a resume and they're freaking good football players that know how to produce on a consistent basis, especially in big time games, and have a winning mentality and have have an ego, personality. You know, those types of players. So if I had to make it, if I had to, I'm gonna say right now that if that were to happen, it would be AP on offense. And then of course, we get rid of Doug, and it would be on defense. There's a lot of options. One name that has come up, which I think I'm coming to the I've come to the idea of, hey, this would not not be a bad idea. Calais Campbell from Arizona. Now, some of you might say, well, doesn't he play defensive end? And we signed William Golston. We already have Robert Ayers. And we re-signed Jaquiz Smith. And we got Noah Spence. Why would we sign? He wouldn't be playing defensive end. Arizona plays in a 3-4 defense, guys. And he's a big motherfucker. He's a big, tall, big motherfucker. He wouldn't be playing defensive end. He would be a beast playing alongside. He's already a beast, but imagine playing alongside Gerald McCoy. That's right, he would be playing defensive tackle, guys. Calais Campbell. Imagine all the resources that Mike Smith and that defense would have at defensive line. Imagine a line with Robert Ayers, Calais Campbell, Gerald McCoy, and William Golston. Or imagine a line with Robert Ayers, Calais Campbell, Gerald McCoy, and Noah Spence. Okay, now imagine a line with Jaquiz Smith, Robert Ayers on the inside, Gerald McCoy, and Noah Spence. We would have a whole bunch of options to do up front. We would have so many rotations in the game that offensive lines would be out of their minds. They would be like, oh my god, we don't know what the fuck to do. We can't block these guys because they keep going in and out. And then with our defense being in the same defense for the second year in a row, and just think, all that guys that were hurt, they got to learn the defense behind scenes. Think about that. Jaquiz Smith, what other injury do we have on defense? Jaquiz Smith, I'm trying to think of what. Whatever injuries we had on defense, they got to learn the defense behind scenes. That's gonna make them even better come next season. Even better. That would be a splash signing on defense. Or maybe a splash signing on defense would be maybe luring away Eric Berry. So imagine our defense with Eric Berry, guys. Maybe Duron Harmon. Okay, he's come up a little bit from New England. He's not a starting safety, which I didn't know that. I thought he was starting safety. He's not a starting safety, but when he's been asked to play due to injury or playing in a certain role, He put up some pretty good numbers for the little bit that he played in New England. Just the question that comes to mind though, can he play full time, starting uh safety position? We'll have to find out. Um, we'll have to find out if we do sign him. Trying to think who else. Um, as far as running backs go, on the free agents, besides AP, if he becomes available, um, there's some options. I mean, Latavius Murray, which he'll probably be back in Oakland. Oakland, Oakland, not gonna let him leave. Um, I mean, there's some options out. I mean, Ronnie Hillman, you know, uh, just pulled up the list yesterday. Ronnie Hillman, NFL free agent. Um, yeah, NFL free agent running backs. NFL free agent running backs. Let's see, D'Angelo Williams, Danny Woodhead, Benny Cunningham, Danny, uh, Darren McFadden, Chris Johnson, Reggie Bush, Lance Dunbar, Brandon Bolden, Le'Veon Bell, that ain't gonna happen. LeGarrette Blount, he should stay in New England. Justin Forsett, Eddie Lacy, if he can get the weight issue going. Um, uh, Matt Asiata, Tim Hightower, Bobby Rainey, we could bring him back. Ronnie Hillman, Joik Bell, Christian Michael, Niall Davis, David Murray, Andre Ellington, Jason Light ties with their Arizona. So I mean, there are some options at running back if we want to. If we want to get a veteran. Uh, then a wide receiver we have um, Alshon Jeffrey, our own Vincent Jackson. Oh yeah, Vincent Jackson. I could see him, but I could see him potentially coming back on a new deal, just because I think he could accept um, a deal, accept a role on the team, not being a full time player obviously, but still being there with the team and having that veteran presence. So I could still see him having a role next year, like a role that's specifically just for him. No, he can still come in and play like play about half the snaps. You know, and he could freaking be on the outside sometimes. I think we might do that. Have him come back. He can still play on the outside. He can play in the slot. Still be still be that big uh, receiving target instead of trying to play in a full-time role. Pierre Garcon already brought up him. Deshaun Jackson brought up him. Kenny Britt brought up him. Aquan Bolden, hey, he's a veteran. I mean, he's hasn't done too bad. He did produce a little bit this season with Detroit, and they did make the playoffs. So, Kamar Aiken, Brandon LaFell, that name came up somewhere. Joe Buckson, which you guys should check that site out, joebucksman.com. But Brandon LaFell, and they brought up a point that he has produced on shitty offenses. I mean, he's this season. I mean, he put up. I mean, he had a decent season in Cincinnati. And then when Carolina's offense, a few years ago was not so great. He did put up some decent numbers there. So I mean, I don't know. He's a veteran option out there. Michael Floyd. Okay, he would already be on our roster when he got released. About a month back, he would already be on our roster because Jason Light had the most intel to him. If he didn't sign him to help make a playoff run, then that shows you right there. We ain't getting Tegan. We had him in for a visit. I don't know. We had him in for a visit, maybe last season, but definitely the season before. We had him in for a visit, and he left. We didn't sign him. Kendall Wright, Andre Holmes, Brian, Cordell Patterson. He can have a role on offense. He can, and he'd be an upgrade and a big upgrade in the return game. What Dirk Cutter did say, yeah, he wants speed. At that, but at a return, well, even that receiver too, and Cordell Patterson definitely has speed, so he could potentially bring a Terrell Pryor. Maybe we can go after him. He's a first year at being a converted quarterback to a receiver. He had a pretty good first season, and that Cleveland, for crying out loud. Robert Woods, I mean, he'd be a good option. Kenny Stills already bought him up. Could be a good compliment. Devin Hester. He has experience in Dirk's offense. And Dirk actually got him going, and he actually caught a few balls. So maybe if he doesn't retire to retire, maybe. But we can also use another tight end. Jordan Cameron, he left Cleveland and he did shitty. He hasn't been that good for Miami. I don't think so. I don't think he's doing that good. Martell's been in. He'll probably be back. Uh, Jermaine Gresham, I don't think he has. Does he have Jason Light ties? Well, still, anybody that with Arizona, Jason Light would have intel. Jared Cook, he's staying back. Um, Larry Donnell. I know he had a period of being good for him. Maybe we can get fucking Tim right. Well, what has Tim Wright done? Everyone when we had Tim Wright, fucking under Shiano, Tim Wright had a hell. Tim Wright was doing a hell of a job. Tim Wright stats. Tim Wright. Tim Wright stats. No, I don't think he's done nothing. So I mean, we could use the upgrade to which we can only look to the draft on that. Then okay now okay real quick. All right, on the offensive line. The offensive line is not bad as what everybody wants to perceive that it is. Just nobody was getting. We didn't have enough weapons. Simple as that. We didn't have enough. We can't just have Mike Evans out there. Then occasionally Cameron Brate and Adam Humphries. We have to have more weapons. And I think that's going to be the subject this offseason. Is getting a player or two that would help upgrade the defense. But it's gonna be getting weapons for Jameis. And maybe do a little line shuffling and maybe get one or two new linemen. But we don't need a whole offensive line overhaul, guys. Okay, we keep Donovan Smith at right tackle. I mean at left tackle. He done a solid job. He has. He done a solid job for the first 2 seasons. The left guard, okay, maybe J.R. Sweezy can come back and provide an upgrade. Other than that, I mean, Kevin Panfield hasn't done too bad of a job. At center, okay, we can re-sign Joe Hawley. He can at least be depth. Maybe he can still be the starter. Evan Smith, he can at least be depth. He depth at basically at all the guard and center position. Speaking of, okay, we have made some signings lately, the 2 future contracts, and we've signed a couple of former Falcon players. Quarterback Sean Renfrey and center James, I think it's James Stone. With James Stone, he actually played a couple seasons ago. He actually played a couple seasons ago. I think it was 2014. I think it was Dirk Cutter's last year there. Yeah, it was when Lovie Smith got here. Lovie Smith and Jason Light. I believe it was Dirk Cutter's last year there, and he played like 10 games that season. He started 10 games at least, and they didn't do too bad of a job. So that's competition right there. The best Canadian, yeah, Canadian receiver, but but still, Jason Light. But no, he's all about finding gems. It's all about finding sleeper players out there. You know, working out a bunch of players, freaking, and finding good underrated players. I mean, we've been all about that. I mean, Ali Marpet comes to mind. So we're gonna be fine. Uh, we're gonna. I think free agency will be a little busy. I think a little busy than normal than the past couple seasons. A little um than the past. Well, uh, maybe at least compared to last season. I think it'll be a little bit more busy. I'm not gonna say we're gonna go gun hole. Okay, friggin' sign this guy, sign this guy, sign this. No, yeah, we might have cap space, guy. We might have the cap space, but um, but we will be wise with it. We will be wise with our money, with our cap, and we're gonna sign and draft a good football players. All right, so soon, maybe today, I don't know. I'll have a mock draft coming up, and I don't know, maybe some other stuff. So I hope you enjoy, um, and good luck to your teams. Still still playing for a Super Bowl, which is not my bucs. See you later, guys.